I request you all to clear the gap and move forward. Please keep your phones on silent mode, switch them off, and make sure you've done that. Please move forward. People will be joining in. Yeah. Abhijata is lighting the lamp. I welcome you all for the Patanjali Jayanti celebration. We'll be doing the invocation together. Just that we'll be chanting Yogena Chittasya, Guru Brahma, followed by a Patanjali Muni Prarthana, which most of us are not aware of, and the Dhanvantari Mantra. Okay, let's begin. Oh. 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 योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोतं प्रवरं मुनीना पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारम् शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् यस्त्यक्त्वा रूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतो नेकदानुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिर्विषमविषधरो नेकवक्त्रस्तु भोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिर्भुजगपरिकरः प्रीतये यस्य नित्यम् देवो हीशः सवो व्यासितविमलतनोर्योगदो योगयुक्तः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः हरिः ओम्. Oh. I'll be Dhanvantari Mantra. Upon Mandaya, they will repeat. So we'll be chanting one line and you people can repeat after us. Om Namo Bhagavate
Dhanvantaraye Namo Bhagavate Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashaya Sarvamaya Vinashaya Trailokyanaathaya
Trailokyanaathaya
Shri Mahavishnave Namaha
Shri Mahavishnave Namaha
Om Dhanvantaraye Namaha
Om Dhanvantaraye Namaha Hari Om. So welcome again. Today on Dhanateras, which is the second day of Diwali festival, we worship Dhanvantari. As you know, he's the god of medicine and healing, god of Ayurveda. And as practitioners of yoga, you all know that there is a special significance given to Patanjali Jayanti as well. Sage Patanjali wrote on 3 subjects, grammar, medicine, and yoga. And what follows immediately in our mind is the Yoga Sutras. But let me be very honest in disclosing the fact that it's not necessary that all practitioners or students of yoga know about Sage Patanjali or the Yoga Sutras. There's no doubt that for us, As students of Iyengar system, it is Guruji and Geeta ji who have opened this doorway. I hope you all agree. And we are indeed deeply thankful to them. It is through all the teachers in the Iyengar family that we have developed the sensibility towards this treasure of Yoga Sutra. We are very, very fortunate that we delve into such an environment here where learning Yoga Sutra is a part of our upbringing. It's a part of our culture. And that helps us essentially to deepen our understanding of the yoga philosophy. And hence this celebration today to express our reverence to Sage Patanjali. Let me remind you on this occasion that as a part of our yoga education, Prashantji has divulged the meaning behind each of the 196 Yoga Sutras, and we have these audio recordings readily available on the Iyengar Yoga YouTube channel. Do listen to them. So often at the end of any class, we notice measurable changes within us, right? We relish the benefits of asana and pranayama. But if some class has included an explanation of any of the Yoga Sutras, that class unknowingly holds a special value. It stays within you like a shine or a sparkle within that gives you the courage to face circumstances outside yoga class. Because that explanation has somewhat drawn attention to complex concepts of human behavior or human mind. It has started developing into an understanding about our own nature. And that's something priceless. By the way, the beginner students, you need not worry. You will soon experience this phase as you graduate to the next level. Sometimes, as practitioners, we are so carried away by the benefits of yoga that we don't anticipate the traps in our pathways. These could be achievements, failures, pleasures, sorrows, downfalls, delusions, attachments, and the list goes on. But through his books on Yoga Sutras, Guruji warns us about disturbances of the mind, intelligence, ego that are likely to occur at various crossroads in our practice. Sometimes the sutras act as a safeguard, and at times it plays a role of a friend who helps you make sense of things happening around you and helps you navigate through life. With this small introduction, I request Prashantji to address us today. After which we'll be singing the Patanjali Aarti, which has been composed by our dear Geeta ji, and you'll get the guidelines later.
So, namaskar, all of you. So, heartily welcome you on this day of Dhanatrayodashi, Dhanvantari Jayanti, and Patanjali Jayanti. So, Dhanvantari Jayanti means the time when Amrita Manthana took place. Because one of the glories which emanated from Samudra Manthan, that means it is on the onset of creation, it took place. Not that the creation in all the form it is now seen, available, that was not there. It was a formative period. Formative period of creation is different. And the divinity had a scheme to shower certain glories to life. And therefore, Amrita Manthanam took place in what is called as Kshira Sagara. Don't try to imagine the Samudra Manthanam means that Samudra is that we have on the planet. And one of the glories was avatar of Vishnu, Dhanvantari. So various glories came up. You will read in the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavad Puranam, which describes the Samudra Manthanam. Different glories came out of the churning of Kshira Sagara. And Dhanvantari was one of them. So it dates back to remote past. So that's a point to be noted, since it is also Dhanvantari Jayanti. It's also Patanjali Jayanti, and then it is in Deepavali, it is called Dhanatrayodashi. The word Dhana in Dhanatrayodashi comes for a form of Lakshmi as well as Dhanavantari. Because greatest wealth to mankind or life is health. And health is the wealth for all life forms. So it was apt that he was named Dhanvantari. Anyway, proceeding further, it's also Patanjali Jayanti. And it aptly comes in Deepavali. Because Deepavali is the festival of lights. Lights all around us. We lit the lights around us. But Dhanvantari has a scheme for us to have illumination within. So it is Deepavali within. Now we lit the lamps during this festival. But with regards to the light inside, it is ever there. It doesn't go on and off. Like the lights, physical lights outside, they are on and off. They come and go. But the light which is within is eternal. What is this Deepavali inside meant in spiritual sense of the term? The Atma Jyoti, Atma Prakasha, the luminosity of the core entity within us, the substrate entity within us, is ever illumined. So there is no question of lighting that. We have to lit the lamps outside. But there is no question of lighting the lamps. Then what is the case? So at your level, I can tell you, when you read the sutras and sutra on the pranayam, tataha prakasha avarana kshayaha. to get oxygenated more than usual, or to get decarboxylated more than usual. Because for us, the breathing is what? Oxygenation, decarboxylation, oxygenation, decarboxylation. And we think it is to be done in different schemes. But Patanjali doesn't say that. Because we can imagine what is the consequence, result, outcome. If you have exalted oxygenation and exalted decarboxylation, what will be outcome? Because carbon dioxide is a toxin, so it's a detoxicant. They are detoxicated. And oxygen is energy, so you are energized. But Patanjali doesn't mention anything with reference to what might be our idea. He says, Tataha Prakasha Varna Kshayaha. What really matters? What really happens? There is an ever-burning flame, ever-burning light. There is self-luminous luminous entity. Like we have the sun, we don't lit it every morning and blow it away every evening. Which happens in the case of lights. When it is evening, we put on the lights. Morning, we put off the lights. The sun is ever burning for last 4,500 million years. We have idea of sunrise and sunset, but there is no on-off switch for sun. The sun doesn't go off and to be on at some other point in time later. It is ever effulgent, ever burning, ever luminous, persistently. There is nothing like we have voltage problems, and then we know what happens with voltage problems. The sun doesn't have any voltage problem, that sometimes it is strong and sometimes it is weak. The sun is ever with the same luminosity, illumination, constantly, persistently, consistently. So we have a sun within, the Adhyatmic sun within, which is the Atma Prakasha, Atma Jyoti. That doesn't flicker. That is not blown out or to be again lit. But what happens? Prakasha Avaranam. It is veiled, enveloped, covered by clouds. Like the sun, during the monsoon, sometimes we have during the daytime quite dark because of the black clouds all over, thick layer of black clouds. What happens to the sun? Sun has not faded out. Sun doesn't fade out. It is the clouds which veil the sun. Similarly, in our mind, psyche, consciousness, chitta, there are cloud formations. The cloud formations thicken and sometimes thin down, sometimes thicken, sometimes thin down. What are those clouds? They are of the nature of gunas, karmas, kleshas, vasanas. So they veil the inner light. They envelop the inner light. So in Deepavali, we lit the lights. While in yoga, we are supposed to clear the internal space Chidakasha, which is full of clouds of the form of karma, klesha, vasana, etc., etc. So the clouds are to be driven away for inner luminosity to shine forth. So in yoga, we try to get the inner luminosity, illumination, which blazes forth. Now, how these clouds are driven away? You can't blow them. The clouds in the sky will be blown by wind. A strong wind comes and the clouds move from our overheads and clouds go elsewhere. So the cloud within is thinned down or sufficiently gotten rid of, if not completely. So we get the clearer sky in the heart, in the Chidakasha. By what? By purity of mind, purity of the chitta, purity, piety, sanctity of the chitta. So through the process of yoga, the Rajatama gunas, which veil the light from within, are mobilized. So the sky, Chidakasha inside becomes clearer. Then the karma vasana, klesha vasana, they also depart. How do they depart? The clouds in the sky go away with heavy downpour. Now, these clouds in the Chidakasha go away with the yogic culture ethos. The ethos turned out by yoga process. So what drives away the clouds in the Chidakasha is, which I have often shot in the classes, tranquility, mind quiet, the light shines forth. Tranquility, neutrality, virginity, serenity, piety, sanctity, purity. So these things, once they appear in the mind, which is sattva guna, when the sattva guna is pumped in, or sattva guna is encouraged to expand, is encouraged to grow, the rajatama gunas leave the site. So they are in the form of tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity, piety, sanctity, sanity, equity, equanimity, equilibrium. Now, those who are familiar in my classes, they know this pataka, which I shoot, burn in the classes. But for others, like, 5,000 wala, 10,000 wala, 1,000 wala. So this is the yogic mind. The mind which is turned out by process of yoga is tranquility. Tranquility of the chitta. It doesn't happen by you taking a tranquilizer. That is available today. So it should be autogenically generated. Organic. Autogenic. Tranquility, neutrality. neutral mind, not polarized, not swinging towards the dualities such as pain, pleasure, delight, sorrows, honor, dishonor, respect, disrespect, loss and gain. So these are all dualities. So the dualities are mitigated and they are neutralized. That's why it is called neutral state. So don't think it is the neutral as you get in your car, a gear. You have forward gear and backward gear and neutral gear. So don't try to understand in that perspective. With regards to mind, when I say neutrality, neutrality is that which fades out polarities, which are pain, pleasure, loss, gain, delight, sorrows, honor, dishonor, respect, disrespect, etc., etc. So they don't stay there. Like the stars are very much in the sky, but once the sun appears, they don't appear. They are there. It's not that the stars only rise in the nights and set in the mornings when the sun comes. The moment the sun comes, they become invisible. They are very much there. They don't get displaced by rise of the sun. So similarly, the function of Rajatama gunas, which play havoc in the form of turbulence in our mind, psychic consciousness, and all kinds of dualities getting flared up, the neutrality neutralizes them. So that's another meaning of to neutralize. Is to destroy. They destroy the polarities or suspend the polarities or drive away the polarities for some time. And at that time, the inner luminosity shines forth. So that's the Deepavali inside. So the practice of yoga has to be seen in that perspective. It is not for you to be kept fit, for you to be kept free from maladies, or give you a false sense of feeling fine. So that's how in mundane world we want to feel fine. Even if we are not fine, we want to feel fine. So the classical yoga is not for feel fine, feel better, feel delighted, feel happy. But it is to drive away, mitigate, neutralize, shrink Rajatama gunas and their and therefore tatakshiyate prakasha varanam. The function of pranayam is to do the guna management, the guna administration within us, which is subsuming the entire embodiment, gross to subtle, physical to psychical, physical to psychological to psychological, chaitik. And therefore, the clouds are set away, set apart, and therefore inner light shines forth. That is the Adhyatmic Deepavali. Now today we have this grudge that Deepavali increases pollution. Inner Deepavali is cause of depollution. When the pollution goes, the Diwali inside happens. Outside Deepavali, when there is Deepavali, the pollution increases. So that's the difference between Deepavali inside and outside. So Patanjali was the one who expounded his philosophy, his science, whatever, his dharma, for one to be free from pollutions. Inner Deepavali is a result of pollutions rarefied. Bang opposite to Deepavali outside. So that's the relationship between Patanjali and Deepavali for you and me. So he has whole scheme. The three layers of yoga he has described: Adhamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari, lower grade, mid grade, higher grade, from which we can be deducing countless hierarchies. So in classical interpretation, they say Ashtanga Yoga is Adhamadhikari's yoga, Kriya Yoga is Madhyamadhikari's yoga, and the Sampragnat Yoga is Uttamadhikari's yoga. We can deduce from that Uttamottamadhikari grades towards Uttamottamadhikari to Adhamadhamadhikari on the lower plane. So Patanjali mentions actually yoga for all the various planes on the lowest level of consciousness to supreme level of consciousness. So at this point in time, it is proper for me to divulge. Guruji is the icon for all of you. Guruji is the icon for all of us. We never bother about who was icon for Guruji. Patanjali was iconic. He was ideal for Guruji. Suppose the relationship between you and me, whatever is the relationship between you and me. Now, suppose I hate your beloved. What will happen to relationship between you and me? Will it continue? I hate, I dislike your beloved. What will happen to relationship between you and me? Will it remain intact? I am indifferent to your beloved. I dislike your beloved. I hate your beloved. I care a pin for your beloved. Will it not matter the relationship between you and me? So, Patanjali was Guruji's beloved. How much you love Guruji really doesn't matter. Because if you don't like his beloved, if you are indifferent to his beloved, if you care a pin for for his beloved, what will happen? He will not reciprocate to your devotion. He will not reciprocate to your dedication. He will also become indifferent to you. Is that right? If I'm indifferent to your very loving person, most loved person by you, if I'm indifferent, you are also going to have indifference with me. We have not understood this. We only have fallen in love with Guruji. We love Guruji. Double L, double L, double L, double L, OV. We love him. We revere him. We have never bothered about. But Patanjali was his icon, ideal. Now we owe something to have a good relationship with Patanjali. Then only our relationship with Guruji will improve, not otherwise. Don't just love Guruji and revere Guruji. By not considering what he loved and whom he loved and whom he revered, who was his icon, we owe a lot of not just remaining Iyengar students. Sorry for sarcasm. We owe something by becoming students of Patanjali. And not becoming students of Patanjali, it will be disheartening to Guruji. So we have to recognize, identify this. Like for the sake of your beloved, you will compromise, you will sacrifice anything, compromise with anything for the sake of the loved one. So Guruji's loved one should be considered. Then only we can win the favor of Guruji, not otherwise. By just loving him, it won't happen. That is required. That is one side of it. The other side of it, we should know what was Patanjali for him. Is Patanjali so much for us? Not at all. Before the commencement of the class, just carry out the mechanical ritual of prayers and say goodbye to Patanjali. Go away. We don't need him. We don't want him around. Because we want to get engaged in our ulterior motives. I want to do for my fitness. I want to do for my being well. I want to do for my pleasure, delight, happiness, gain. So it has become a mechanical ritual to chant and recite the prayers. So we need to amend our process, our thinking there. Like is a beautiful example given between a mother and her baby. You cannot make that woman, that mother happy as easily. You will make her happy by making her baby happy. You just take some chocolate for a baby, which is hardly 10, 20 rupees. The mother is happy to the extent of 10,000 rupees. Why? Because the child, the baby is so loving, beloved to the mother. So you cannot make that woman happy. You can make the woman happy by keeping the child happy. Take them some toys, which will not cost more than 100 rupees. Take some gifts. Give the gift to child. The mother of the child is happy. Whatsoever you do for that woman, she is not happy. To make that woman happy, perhaps you will have to give a sari which is 100,000 plus rupees, a sari which is costing 5 lakhs, 4 lakhs, then perhaps she'll be slightly happy. It is easier to give just 10 rupee chocolate to this child, and she is much more happy than a Banarasi sari or Kanjivaram sari, which is costing fabulous 4 lakhs and 5 lakhs and 10 lakhs. So to make the woman happy, fondle the child, like the child, love the baby, praise the baby, give gifts to baby. Mother is happy, abundantly happy. So if you want to make someone happy, see that you make his beloved happy even by a little bit. You give something worth 10 rupees, the lover is happy by millions of rupees. That's the relationship between them. So I don't know whether it's appropriate to say here or not. There was a long love affair between Guruji and Patanjali. Now we can't just look down upon Patanjali. We will win the favor of Guruji by our obeisance to Patanjali, our reverence to Patanjali. So I have tried to let out a secret. If you want to win favor of Guruji, become students of Patanjali, not just love Patanjali. For a child, you can offer some toys and chocolates and cookies. The child is happy. But Patanjali will not be happy. You can't go and offer a chocolate, Cadbury's, which is just 10 rupees or perhaps 100 rupees. These days, Diwali, you get that package, Cadbury celebrations. Maybe you might buy it for 3, 4, 4, 500. Students of Patanjali. Many of you might think to be a very dedicated student of Guruji, you will win the favor. No. You should know he had a beloved. You have to do something for his. So more than being Iyengar students, Iyengar yoga students, we have to be students of Patanjali. So I've given a secret. If you want to have more favor of Guruji, what you should do. Patanjali mentions yoga for everyone. Shipta bhumi, Mooda bhumi, Mood, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Niruddha. So broad classification she has given, 5 classifications she has given. Chitta bhumayaha. They are called chitta bhumis. Yoga is something is meant for everyone. That's why I have many times said this often. Yoga is not for one and all. Where this has been sounded in the world, yoga for one and all, yoga for one and all, yoga for one and all. I have made a little amendment there. I say, yoga is not for everyone, but something is there in yoga for everyone. Understand what's the meaning? There is something of yoga for everyone, rather than saying yoga for everyone. That happened, that slogan came up because yoga was to be popularized. Because the yoga was to be popularized, all the pioneers in propagating yoga amplified this yoga for one and all, yoga for one and all, yoga for one and all. There is something in yoga for one and all. So let's get some education about the reality about that. It's not a yoga for one and all. That's why yoga has been described as Kalpa Vruksha. Kalpa Vruksha is what? It's a celestial tree. A tree usually gives one fruit. Banana tree will not give mango fruit. Banana tree will not give orange fruit. Orange tree will not give you guava. Guava will not give you apples. Apple tree will not give you any other fruit, but that fruit. So we are used to such botanical life. Imagine a tree bearing all kinds of fruits. It should be only imagined. A tree having bananas hanging, apples hanging, oranges hanging, all kinds of fruits which are available, guavas, sapotas, grapes, name any fruit. Will you get a tree which is having all kinds of fruits? No. The Kalpa Vruksha is a tree in the heavens. You don't get that tree on the terrestrial plane. For each kind of fruit, you'll have to have that kind of plant. So why something is called heavens? Any tree will give every fruit. Now, how will the fruit come? You have a desire. Sit under the mango tree. There are mangoes hanging. I want apple. Apple will fall in front of you. I want orange. Orange will fall in front of you. I want banana. Banana will fall in front of you. Because your desires are never shattered in Swargalok. Whereas we ask for banana, we have to wait for ages. We don't get it. We sit under banana tree and then there is no banana on the tree at all. We leave the site. After a couple of days or weeks, there are bananas hanging. When you go there, no banana. When you go under mango tree, no mango hanging. You leave the site. In no couple of days, mangoes will hang on the tree. Usually this happens in mundane life. We don't get what we want and we get what you don't want. So let's see. Mundane condition. Kalpa Vruksha is of the heaven. So yoga has been described as Kalpa Vruksha. Point is, it is for mood, kshipta, vikshipta, ekagra, niruddha. Therein, Patanjali Vyasa clarifies with regards to mood, kshipta, vikshipta, samadhi, yoga, pakshe, na vartate. So the samadhi of those three bhumis will not fetch samadhi. Whereas the samadhi will be fetched by only ekagra, niruddha, the last two bhumis. However, some yoga will be there. So Guruji's yoga, there are two aspects. One is the yoga that, like in classical music, we have Abhijata Shastriya Sangeet called classical music. And on the other hand, we get the pop version, popular music. Upashastriya, Sugama Sangeet, Natya Sangeet, Bhava Sangeet, Sile Sangeet. So many forms mutations have come from the classical music. Similarly, it is the case of yoga. Popular version of yoga had to be devised for universal appeal. So what Guruji was giving in class situation was popular yoga. What Guruji was teaching outside the realm of the class was not gravitating towards popular yoga, but then he was going towards more essential yoga, and that's quintessential yoga. What he practiced was totally different. So that I have said many times, it is the case. Otherwise you have this condition: walk the talk, walk the talk, walk the talk, talk the walk, talk the walk, talk the walk. Guruji never walked the talk, never talked the walk. What he was practicing, what he practiced, was totally different than what he taught. He taught what you need, and he practiced what he should. So Guruji was pioneer of popular yoga, pop yoga, but he also knew the yoga of other hierarchies and quintessential yoga. So Guruji's yoga has been, at this point in time, let me tell you about it. We are actually caught in a trap. When Iyengar yoga is characterized by someone who was not Iyengar himself, as a matter of fact, critical person, critic of Guruji, described something, and most of us have fallen in the trap of it. Iyengar yoga is precision. Iyengar yoga is alignment. Iyengar yoga is perfection. We all, if we believe in it, we are all trapped. So I want a generation of students of our institute and Iyengar yoga at large not to make people fall in the trap. Because all these characteristics, signature conditions, precision, perfection, alignment, they have reference to asanas, not asanas, postures. Posture should be aligned. Posture should have symmetry. Posture should be perfect. Posture should be precise. That is why wrong impression has gone all over the world that Iyengar yoga is posture yoga. So we need to take care to make necessary changes, necessary amendments there, and set right the ideas and concepts which are haunting the minds of the people. Iyengar yoga is precision, perfection, alignment. It has only reference to asanas. Guruji's yoga was not asana yoga. Asana is actually posture, not even asana, posture. There's a big difference between an asana and a posture. I won't open that out now. So that's how it has been branded. Now, logically think over. If Guruji was teaching Yehudi Menuhin as one of the most distinguished students, Yehudi Menuhin was his student, not student of yoga. Let's be clear about it. The Queen Mother of Belgium at the age of 84, she was student of Guruji, not student of yoga. So Guruji is acclaimed for these luminaries whom he taught. None of them were students of yoga. They were all consumers of Guruji's skill. They wanted to take benefit of his skill that he had. Therefore, Yehudi Menuhin became dedicated student. Many musicians became dedicated students. The celebrities became dedicated students. Not that they were students of yoga, they had inquisitiveness about yoga. But then that gave him name, fame, recognition, etc., which was necessary for him to carry out his mission of propagating yoga. That's why most of you are turned to him, because Guruji has taught celebrities. Guruji is acclaimed as the greatest teacher. That's why, let me tell you, on the wristwatch of Guruji, which Yehudi Menon gave him in 1954, what is the inscription there? Not my best yoga teacher, my best violin teacher. He wanted to play violin better with the help of Guruji. So he wanted Guruji to be assisting factor for him to play violin better. So he was not expecting precision from Menuhin, J. Krishnamurti, Clifford Curzon. He taught all of those celebrities. Queen Mother of Belgium, 84 years of age, she wanted to stand on the head. So he did not make her stand on the head and go on giving instructions like, some of you might have got the instruction: elbows closer, lift your shoulders, widen your shoulders, open your chest, rotate the thighs, tighten the buttocks, rotate the legs, feet together, toes together. What an anger teacher will teach about Shirshasana. He customized it for them. So it is wrong to say that Iyengar Yoga means precision, which is all posture related. Alignment, we speak with respect to body. In asanas, we should be well aligned. No, we don't speak about mind alignment, but body alignment. Whereas the asanas come in the scheme of chitta vritti. So there is open architecture. You cannot characterize Iyengar Yoga by such predicates which are misleading. Let's do away with it. Let us try to tell the world more amplified than they have done it. So where in Ashtanga Yoga, everywhere will you get the precision, perfection? So when you were a child, something was right and something was wrong. When we were all children, something was right, a set was right, a set was wrong. But when we grew up, it changed. We became children, we came to teenage, adolescence, youth, adulthood. So things change. So what is right for a child of 3-4 years and what is wrong for a child of 3-4 years doesn't remain the same when the same child becomes 30, same child becomes 60. It changes. But that's not the case of precision. The precision cannot be changing. 1 inch should be 1 inch. Summer, winter, morning, evening, Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, American continent, Asian continent. It cannot be changing. 1 inch cannot change. 10 gram cannot change just because you are in different location. So this predication should be done away with. It is open architecture. So it doesn't have a set process to say this is precision. Now, critically probe the concept of precision. You cannot be having flexibilities. Okay, 1 inch, you are a child, this is 1 inch for you. And now you are a young person, 1 inch cannot change. 1 inch should be 1 inch. But it changes. The child is made happy to a particular unit of happiness by offering a chocolate. Now, I cannot give the same chocolate to you and expect that you are happy to same degree. So Guruji devised yoga for children. Now, those who are teaching children, the precision is set aside. A diseased person having maladies, diseases, problems, the yoga was customized. What he taught was customized for a person. If it is precision, you cannot customize 10 grams. This is 10 grams for you, and this is another, this is 20 grams is 10 for you. No, the 10 gram is 10 gram for everyone. Whether you are a child, whether you are stupid or intelligent or rich or poor, 10 gram is 10 gram. But Guruji's system has open architecture. It was customized, devised to the given condition. So we'll have to have a reappraisal. So I would request you to write an essay on anger yoga and give it to me. So the yoga that he was practiced was totally different, not the yoga that he taught for you and me, that too in a class. Many of the students are claiming that they know Iyengar yoga because they learned for 30 years. Little critically, if I say 30 years, how once in a week class, 2 hours once in a week for 30 years. If your college going student says, that way I will go to college only once in a week. Medical college, I will go once in a week and I will learn medicine. Is it allowed? I go to engineering college, I will go once in a week. 2 hours once in a week, 2 hours once in a week, 2 hours once in a week. You will not complete your course in 500 years. You don't live that long. And that to the class situation, class framework is one. You can't say that you attended his classes and learned, conceived, construed what is Iyengar yoga. This is highly unjustifying. Many of them claim, I am doing, I've studied under Guruji for 30 years and 40 years and 50 years. What was the frequency? 1 hour class, 1.5 hour class, 2 hour class, and what once in a week? And that too bunking here and then, now and then, for various reasons. So I'm dedicated student. I am doing for 40 years. I did for 40 years under him. So we should have learned from Guruji rather than he teaching us. Because his teaching would be limited in a class. We should have learned it from his life. So what he taught yoga was because of why you wanted. And the why for him was totally different. Therefore, the what changed. If the why changes, the what changes. If the why changes, the what changes. If the why changes, the how changes. So for him, why he did yoga was totally different than why all of us do yoga. Therefore, the what is going to change and how he is going to change with respect to him. Although he tried to put across to some extent, but he did not have the time, and nor most the student did not have the time. See, if you say once in a week and 2 hours, that means you don't have time. So he could not do. So when you don't have time, how can I help you? If you say, I have no time, even if I wish to help, I can't help. You every time say, I have no time, no time, no time. Go away, I will say. No time, go away. We did not have time more than once in a week class, and that too for 1.5 and 2 hours, or maybe 3 hours. So Guruji's yoga, that's why I have been doing the distinction between Iyengar yoga and Iyengar's yoga. What was his yoga? At least you must have a sense of inquiry. We may not be able to practice, but why not figure out what was his yoga? So his yoga was as outlaid by Patanjali and as conceived by him. Whereas in our yoga, Patanjali has no place. While for his yoga, it was occupied by Patanjali. When he was doing his own yoga, he was studied with Patanjali's precepts, Patanjali's process, Patanjali's guidelines. As he understood, it was impacting, influencing his practice. So we at least should peep into his practice, peep into the principles of his practice, peep into what was yoga for him. It may not be practicable and practical for you to be practicing that and doing that, but we owe inquiry as to what was his practice. But see how our nature is. Suppose your child goes to school every time and say, oh, mom, I don't like mathematics. I don't get it. I don't want to do. I don't want to attend mathematics. Please arrange that I'm free from mathematics. Now, that cannot be done. Mother doesn't like it. She says, no, child, this is the age you must learn. But in our case, yeah, I think this is not suitable. I will not do. I'm not inclined. I will not do. I don't see advantage. I will not do. If the child asks for the same freedom that it is not going to pay me, I don't want to do it. It is not good for me. I'm not going to do it. As parents, will you allow the child to go its way? Child, do whatever you like. Don't do whatever you don't like. You don't allow the child to do, but we all do it. This is not practicable for me. No, I won't do it. You are supposed to know it, even if it is not practicable for you, not practicable for you. As students of yoga, we should know it. But we are so consumer-minded, consumeristic. I should get, I will do it. I should have advantage, I will do it. I should like it, I will do it. It should benefit me, I will do it. This is materialism. Now we make the child to do so many things. The child is not inclined, but we try to induce the child. Somehow or the other, we say that the child does it. But if we give the freedom to child, do what you like. Don't do what you don't like. Are you parents? Are you parents in that case? Are you parenting the child? No. But whereas we have become like that. We cite advantage. If we cite advantage, I will do it. If I don't cite advantage, I will not do it. Okay, you don't do it. But somewhere become students of yoga. After 7, 8, 10, 12 years of your pursuit, maybe first year we won't expect you. First couple of years, we won't expect you. But if you are doing for 7, 8, 10, 15 years, We must have inquiry into what really yoga is, whether it is good for me, applicable for me, practicable for me, useful for me, productive for me, paying for me. This is consumerism. So if you are doing for years and years and years, decades and decades and decades, that doing at different stages of life, we must have a sense of inquiry into why Guruji was pursuing. What was the gravity on him to be doing yoga until that ripe old age? So Guruji's system should not be put into that frame which is usually described as students of Institute and Iyengar Yoga, students and teachers of Iyengar Yoga. See that you kick away such predicates, such descriptions which are done by aliens of Iyengar, aliens of Guruji. They have made a broadcast of it. Precision, perfection, symmetry. It's all asana reference. There is so much of yoga beyond asana. And then this is posture reference precisely. Beyond posture, there is so much of yoga, so much in yoga. So let's try to open our eyes for what yoga is. So that will be our Deepavali. Let's not be blindly going after whatever we have consumed and construed and conceived, believed. Let's have discernments. Let's try to have disillusionments. So let's have reappraisal of our idea of Iyengar Yoga, our idea of yoga, what yoga is, what's your idea? Let's have a reappraisal, and then we can consult the Patanjali school, Patanjali philosophy, Patanjali's ethos, whether it endorses with our ideas. Basically, become students of yoga to really win grace of Guruji. By falling at his feet and rubbing your nose on his feet, it won't work. It won't work. So before you want to establish good relationship with a person, first try to know who are the allies and aliens of that person and keep them in proper place, proper box. Then your relationship with that person will be improved. But if you don't consider who is the alien of that, the person with whom you are interacting, with whom you have to be friendly, you don't consider the alien and allies, the loved ones and hated ones. We should not be doing what Guruji did not like. On one hand, we should be doing what he liked. And we should identify his love affair with Patanjali. Then only we can be favorable to him and he will be favorable to us. Okay? So wish you auspicious, enlightening Deepavali. I won't wish you happy Deepavali. Whole world wishes you happy Deepavali, happy Deepavali. None of us is happy, despite so many people wishing happy every occasion. And we Indians have 1,000 occasions every year, and every occasion happy Sankranti, happy this, happy that. Why nobody is happy? Happiness doesn't depend upon somebody wishing. Happiness has to come from within. You have to open that resource fount hole of happiness, then you will be happy. You don't have to depend upon others wishing you, others giving you. So I want to wish you happy Deepavali. I don't wish happy festivals enlightening festivals. Namaskar. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Prashantji, for these enlightening words. They have lit up the darker areas in our minds, which was as dark before you started. So we'll be concluding the program with the Patanjali Aarti, but just a few guidelines for that. Here, you all know the website that our institute has, rimi.org. So you have to log in and go to that website. On the resources page is the Patanjali Aarti, so that all of us can participate in the chanting. For the online people, there's a screen being shared. So you can look at the screen while you chant with us. Okay. Take a minute or so to log in until we get prepared here. Yeah. Once they. So we request you to stand, all of you, once you're ready with the screens.
All of you have to stand up for Aarti.
Can you all make a passage and make the path clear for the camera so that just split into two halves? Anybody without the phone, without the screen can come here. I have a few sheets. You can use it as a in a cluster. Huh?
देव शेषावतारा
Share it.
जय आदिशेषा गौणिका कुमरा पतंजलि देवा जय देव अर्धांगी मानव विष्णुची शय्या नाभि पद्मा खाली सर्प आकारा निर्द्वंद्व निर्गुण आत्मस्वरूपा उद्धारी मानवादावि स्वरूपा जय देव शेषावतारा हो जय आदिशेषा गौणिका कुमरा पतंजलि देवा जय देव काया वाचा मन बुद्धि शोधन चित्त पावन करी चित्त दमन सकलेंद्रियांचे शुद्धीकरण वात पित्त कफ करी समान जय देव शेषावतारा हो जय आदिशेषा गौणिका कुमरा पतंजलि देवा जय देव योग आयुर्वेद भाषा प्रकरण देई देणगी ही कैवल्य खाण अष्टांग योग वृत्ती निरोध समाधि साधन योगोपासन जय देव शेषावतारा हो जय आदिशेषा गौणिका कुमरा पतंजलि देवा जय देव श्री पतंजलि महाराज की
This was composed by Geeta.
The program is officially over, but there's an announcement related to the Belur Trust donations, right? Like all of you know, it was Guruji's endeavor to uplift the hometown Belur. So we have the donation desk arranged. Those who have not contributed yet, you can contribute, donate. There's a desk near the office, okay, while you go back. People who are not present here, especially attending online, please get in touch with the institute or any association that is closest to you for guidelines. So as you bow down to the Dhanvantari idol, Patanjali idol, there are snacks being served downstairs. Please join us for the snacks. And the classes resume on the 4th of November, Monday. So see you then.